folks, and welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and today we're going to go under the dome again, where we're going to talk to Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Gene Newman. We're going to catch up on what went on in the legislature last week. And a lot did, so you don't want to miss this, so stay right there. When we come back, we'll go under the dome. Be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. Adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi, folks, and welcome back into another edition of This Week in Pearl, where we are going back under the dome again with our distinguished guest, Representative Gene Newman and Senate Pro Tem Dean Kirby. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A nice, cold, blustery, snowy Monday morning as we film this.
But we are so lucky. We are so lucky here in Pearl because most of us did not lose electricity. We are not suffering through what they're suffering in North Mississippi. And we got a lot to be thankful for this morning.
Don't we, though?
Yes.
I mean, we truly do. I know that it's some of the pictures I have seen and the videos I have seen out of North Mississippi are horrendous.
It is.
I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of people out of power in our state.
In our state.
In our state. I mean, it's bad up there, and it's still really cold. It's going to be brutally cold. I feel for them, and the real heroes in all of this right now are the linemen.
Record drivers, police officers,
police and fire.
firemen,
Oh, yeah.
They needed to be added to that list of heroes because they're having to deal with this mess.
Yep.
The worst ice storm in North Mississippi since 1994. That's what they're saying.
Is it now? Some of those pictures, like coming out of Oxford that we were talking about earlier, you look at
downtown.
just downtown. You look at some of those drone shots that they have, just incredible damage.
Really, really sad. But we should be really thankful. But we need to be praying for those people up there, that especially the ones that's having to deal with it personally. That don't have generators, that don't have space heaters in their house, that worried about pipes freezing and all that, so they just need to be praying for them.
I know MEMA's on the scene. I know they were waiting. They knew this was coming, so they were staged. I mean, we know all of those things that they're
As prepared as they could be.
sure, and it affects them too. It's one thing to move around in a hurricane, damage after a tornado or a hurricane, because once that happens, it goes through and it's done. And then you just start moving debris and all of that. But in an ice storm, once it's here,
And it's just hanging on.
It's just
the cold
yeah.
is just hanging on.
and
So
I mean, it makes it very difficult to get to those people. So we feel for them in North Mississippi, absolutely. And I know we kind of mentioned this a little early yet, but the legislature may or may not have to do something, I guess, for apportionment up there. I mean, there's things that you guys can do later, I guess, obviously.
We don't even know what all the needs are yet.
Right.
So, yeah.
But y'all have done stuff in the past,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
and we'll probably do something again, I would think, in this session.
we just going to have to wait and see. We got to
Right.
see what, and usually probably going to be something related to MEMA and what they need to do the job.
Right. Of course, the president declared it a federal disaster area. Tate Reeves declared it a state disaster area. All of that before it even
State
happened.
of emergency.
State of emergency.
Before it ever happened.
Right, because we knew it was going to happen. Huge
Yeah.
storm. And we are blessed here in Pearl. We
yeah.
dodged a bullet. You know, it was crazy. If you guys were watching the weather, just constant monitoring. Did you see the line?
We were right on the line.
I mean, was that not insane? I mean,
On
it's like the line, and just right onto the left of the line, it was 20. To the right of the line, it was 70. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah.
it was crazy. And I heard people talking about the first time that they've ever experienced thunder snow. Because of that reason.
Excuse me.
That's insane. That's crazy. All right. So, welcome into another week. Because of that, and because that there are issues with people getting, people's schools not in, and legislatures can't make it to the Capitol, what do?
Well, school kids are not happy because, I mean, they're out of school and it's cold and they can't even go ride in the snow or nothing.
I
So,
know, right?
It's just,
So, what happens to our calendar, to our legislative calendar?
that's a whole different story. So we don't know, and we don't know because we don't know whether we know we're not going back today. We don't know whether we're going to get back tomorrow. It may be Wednesday, and the reality of it is we don't know when the people out of North Mississippi can get down here, and we got to have enough people in the Senate and the House to have a quorum.
Right.
yeah.
So if we don't have enough, if we can't get enough of them down here, then we're going to have to wait, and we'll have to see. And then from that point, because we're coming up hard and fast on a deadline to get stuff out of committees, we may it takes 2/3 vote to change stuff, and I'm sure the majority of people would want to try to do something to extend it out to get some of their bills out. So
It takes, 2/3 to extend the
yeah,
the
2/3
session
out of both
houses
Yeah.
to extend
Yeah,
the session.
and I don't know if we'll extend the session or just extend the deadlines.
Yeah.
So you may keep the session the length,
Yeah.
but you may just change the rules a little bit,
Right.
And push because I know coming up February 3rd, it's got to come out of committee.
Correct.
So instead of a 4 o'clock in the afternoon last meeting, it may be
10 o'clock that night.
it may be 10 o'clock at
Midnight.
night last meeting.
So you may keep the same day even. You just
We just have to
you
see.
don't know yet, but it's gonna. We know it's gonna change.
Well, like my military affairs chairman in the House is Bubba Carpenter, and he lives as far northeast Mississippi as you can get. So,
Corinth area.
yeah, north of Corinth, somewhere up in there. So,
Right.
so he and a transportation secretary is next county over. So Steve Massengale. So those two guys have to get back and hold committee. They hadn't did any committee meetings because all the bills haven't been signed.
Right.
They haven't all come out of the speaker's office. They were just coming in and all that. So, if those guys haven't met, you got to figure that out. So and that's a hard job for the speaker and the lieutenant governor to figure out. And then if they need to extend the deadline or do something like that, then we got to vote on it. So.
And you had something happen with the speaker this week, so
Yeah.
they want to happen.
The
So-
speaker's father passed past weekend, so he's got to deal with that, and
And he assigns the bills, and he's going to be out some, so it's going to be.
No pun here intended, but it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
One thing happens, and then
It
just
is.
another thing happens, and then the next thing you know,
And our-
you're having to push deadlines.
Yeah, and our prayers are with the speaker. He's under enough pressure as
Sure.
it is. So.
yeah,
Sure.
he's trying to deal with all this at the same time, and then lose his dad, and him and his dad was close, so
Yeah.
definitely condolences to him and his family and his mom, and just let the Lord take care of him.
Absolutely. Well, Senator, over on your side of the house, you guys are methodical, and and it's gotten colder, so maybe the molasses is a little more frozen over there. So y'all moved really quickly though the first couple of weeks. I mean, surprisingly, but I want to touch on something. You guys are still pushing out education
We are.
bills. That's what
We
you
are.
guys
I noticed
doing.
this morning several that came out last Thursday, I guess, were on the calendar today. So somebody's been working.
Right.
Mostly education bills on the calendar. We have several education bills, whereas they had one big.
They had
beautiful
one, the
bill.
HB2, which we'll talk about in just a second. But y'all basically parsed this down. You basically took HB2, and it's individualized each piece.
Well, not
to an
each piece.
extent.
We left some pieces
Some
out.
pieces are left out.
Yeah.
You pulled out the light. You're dealing with ones that you like.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Like teacher pay raise you're talking about. and
Yes.
Those types of, yes.
But y'all have worked on that this week some more.
Yes.
Can you shed any light on what's coming out so far?
Well, I actually I just saw a few minutes ago all the things on the calendar, but basically everything, like you say, that's in HB2, except for the school choice deal. We did a separate bill on it for just vetoing a transfer. In other words, the schools now have to release a kid,
Right.
but no school district has to accept them. So we didn't change any rules for anyone, including the MAIS. Is that what it is?
Right.
So if a kid transfers from, we'll say wherever, from Brandon to Pearl or Pearl to Brandon, wherever, that kid, if he plays sports, had to sit out a year.
Right.
So that's the rules. We didn't change anything
That's
there.
kind of the bigger pieces for you guys.
Yeah.
Right. And I know y'all did teacher pay raises. You did pay raises all the
And-
way through the junior college and all the way up to the senior college level. Y'all really did a lot there, right?
Yeah, we have. Well, we're looking at a lot of things. The house keeps throwing us curves. Yeah, they throw a curveball. We just throw a fastball.
Okay.
and the curveball that we just got, I found out about, is consolidating some community colleges. So
Yeah, I was going to touch
I don't
on
know where
that,
we
and
are on that.
I was going to touch on that. So that kind of came out of the House,
Excuse me.
Representative
No,
Newman.
it hadn't
What's
come
the-
out of anywhere. It's just introduced in
It
the
was
House.
just introduced in the House. So this is consolidating, if I understand this correctly, this was consolidating community college districts, right?
The districts,
It was
yes.
not doing away with buildings, not brick and mortar, just consolidating the districts. What the heck?
I have no idea. I have not read the bill, but I have gotten a ton of calls on it. I can tell you that.
So
Yes.
explain a little bit about what you do know.
It
and
involves
help us out.
six community colleges.
Right.
Isn't that correct?
Huh?
6 community colleges are involved,
Yeah.
I believe.
Well,
3 are,
no, 6 community college districts, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, I think it. Anyway,
That's what it is.
It
Yeah.
involves districts. So you got, the reality of it. Here's the reality. Hines Community College, when they do the money that they get from the county, just the money from Rankin County
Right.
is a lot of money. You go to Coahoma Community College, and that's just from Rankin County.
And that's in Itawamba County.
Yeah,
Right. Coahoma.
Coahoma is in Coahoma
Oh,
County,
Coahoma County, I'm sorry.
way up there in
Right.
the very
Yes.
North Delta.
Right, my bad.
And they've got like 5 counties. All 5 counties don't put in as much money as Rankin County does.
They don't have very many students either, though.
Right.
It's a small school.
It's a small school, but it's a new school too. That's the same way at all these other schools that's in this bill. That's what I've seen. Is all of them are they're not as bad as Coahoma, but all of them. Like, in other words, you take Copiah Lincoln. Copiah Lincoln has Copiah County, obviously. Well, guess what? Hines Community College has Copiah County too. So the money from Copiah County goes to 2 different schools. Goes to 2 different districts.
Why?
Because Copiah used to have a school right on their district that became part of Hines. The Hines at Utica,
Yeah.
Utica campus was originally it still sits in Copiah County. So that money's divided, and all the counties that make up Copiah Lincoln is they don't have the kind of money that Hines and Rankin does.
Yeah, I don't think the intent of the bill is to do away with any community colleges.
Right.
It's trying to equalize some of the funding, is what I
Really more about the money
understand about it.
and equalize the funding. But then you're talking about doing away with a couple of junior
Presidents.
college presidents and their staff, and I would imagine they're not very happy about that.
I'm sure.
I haven't talked to any of them, but I wouldn't.
you know,
say-
Southwest
those
Community
guys I
College
have not
president
heard
said he
from.
was exceptionally disappointed in that bill.
Who?
Who was?
The Southwest Community College
Yeah.
president.
Well, that's I've heard more from.
Yeah.
See, I've heard more from down there around Colin and
Yeah.
and Southwest and
Yeah.
Me too.
so that's where I've heard most of the. But I've heard it because, you know, I've heard it from everywhere because I'm on public property.
All right. So as bills go, this one's probably not going anywhere.
Well, let me say this: my desk mate is chairman of the colleges and universities in the House,
Yes.
and they didn't warn him that this was coming.
Oh, really?
I can tell you it's probably dead.
Oh,
If it
okay.
ain't dead, dead. And if it ain't dead, dead, dead.
It's
Right where
already
it
dead,
sits.
dead, because they didn't even let him know.
They
That
didn't know it
coming
was coming, and he has. You talking about somebody getting hammered? Now he has gotten hammered over his deal.
over something he didn't know. But so blindsided. He
Yeah.
was blindsided.
Well, Hines actually has done that already with Utica Community College. Hines, well, I don't know how many years ago, but a few years ago, took in Utica.
Yeah.
So
Right. So, and it doesn't affect Rankin County and our Hines Junior College.
no,
It should be the Hines Rankin Junior College. If you want to ask me, we should
or
rename it.
Rankin,
Or Rankin Junior College, one of the two.
or
But-
just Rankin
Yeah,
College.
all my kids went there
Yeah.
right out of the gate, coming out of Pearl. They all did at least a tour at Hines.
Yeah, it's a good school.
It is.
It's a
It
very
really-
good
It
school.
really
here.
is. My youngest did 3 years at Hines because he was a cheerleader. So he took advantage
Well,
as much as he could.
Yeah, and the nursing school.
Oh, yeah.
is
Right.
beautiful there.
I know, right? But it doesn't affect us, the bill. And here again, like I've been educated. I'm educated now. This bill introduced this year. We're probably 2 or 3 years down the road from anything being realistic,
I would say if it's even feasible. I mean,
if it even lives.
I think
past this year.
this was somebody. I mean, it's not just somebody; it's the chairman of Ways and Means. But he whether somebody gave him the bill or whether this is something he's been thinking about or whatever. Because I mean, he's close to where he lives at. It's close to, and I'm not sure his district, his county's may not be in one of the Delta Community Colleges districts. So. You know, that may be his reasoning is well, he's been seeing what's going on.
Okay. All right.
I know nothing about it. I'm like, so nothing, nothing,
These
other than what
curveballs-
I've read.
These curveballs that just come out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They just
I never could hit a curveball.
So, just to kind of finish up on the education side of things, HB2 is being transferred over to the Senate this
Yep.
week.
That's right.
You guys will get it in committee, and then your education committee will decide whether it comes out or not on the 3rd. Is that right?
Well, I don't expect it to come out of the Senate, to be honest with you. If it does, it'll be amended, of course.
Right.
Would
Would you say mainly because there's a lot of things in there y'all don't agree with, but y'all have already passed?
Well, there's
some of the
a
other
lot of
parts
things
of it.
we do agree with.
Sure, that you've
and
already
so-
passed.
so that's right.
Right.
Yeah. So,
See, normally you would just strip out the parts you didn't like if you was going to take up a bill that was
Right.
coming from the other side.
but
So much poison has been put in this one, and then I say poison, not from the House side.
No.
We didn't do it. It's what's been advertised and what's been
advertised,
said
Right.
by different people.
And even you said that you can't vote for HB2, even if they amend it and make it perfect.
Yeah.
You still can't vote for it because
It's-
you said I'm not voting for HB2.
That's
the
correct.
word,
I done
the word
told-
we're using is toxic. And
Yeah.
it is. It's
Right.
toxic.
You know, once you tell all your people that you're not voting for something, you can't vote for it no matter what they do to it.
Sure.
And you know, that's. I have a lot of people contact me about voting for something, and I usually say I will not vote for it in its current form. Some things, if I tell you I'm not voting for something, period, I'm not voting for it.
Regardless what they do to
I don't care what they do to it. I'm not voting for it. It's-
Put motherhood in it, and he's against it.
it. And just do it. Mother.
I'm sorry.
Right,
Once I tell people I'm not voting for something, or I am voting for something, either way.
And I know it's a little early,
It is.
still in the session, but let's get out our little crystal ball just a second, so that people that are watching this show maybe let's try to put some people at ease a little bit, and let's look down the road just a little bit. So, do you see the speaker taking up these bills that have come from the Senate and they passing out of committee?
Well,
do
but
you see that coming out of committee?
It's not the speaker. It's the education
Do you-
committee or whatever committee they're
Sure.
before. And you know, there's still things in there, those bills that they're not going to poison the well just because the Senate didn't take up their bill. I don't believe that. I believe
Okay.
that they're still committed to enough of these things that they're going to try to work with whatever vehicles they have.
Sure.
Now, does that mean that they won't try to add something back in that they won't?
Right.
I won't say that they won't, but I will say that they're still committed to doing the best they can for education, even if they have to do it a different way.
So if the Senate looks like that possibly, if you're reading the tea leaves right now, the Senate looks like maybe HB2 may not come out of committee.
It's a good chance
It's a
it may
good
not.
chance it may not. That only leaves what they passed for you to get anything done this year on education. That leaves what they.
Well, you still
sent
got you still have at least a week
Oh,
to
yeah.
get stuff out of committee, and we don't know what else is coming out of the House committee to start off with.
To start off
There may be some of those individual bills that's coming out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that could feasibly do some of these things.
Okay.
So you know,
That you could send over to the Senate
yeah, we could
outside
send
of
over
HB2.
yes, right.
So there could be some things like school choice and stuff that comes out of committee that
That-
would be separate of HB2
Right.
that could be sent over. So there, I know that's why I said I know it's early, but I was just trying to give people a little bit of an idea as to where you're thinking the tea leaves might be falling, you know, on this.
But we just got to work. We got to work through it and see. You know,
We got to work together,
and
and we will.
for the most part, we will.
making
I mean,
sausage.
I know, right? That's what's so fun about this show. We talk about how the sausage gets made, you know, and
The end result's good.
the end result is great. And about that consolidation of you know, junior college school districts, I get the idea. Don't blindside the chairman of the committee, but I get the idea. But even still, it takes 3 or 4 years. Once you introduce something, it takes 3 or 4 years to get it down the road anyway.
most of the time.
Most of the
good
Some-
bills
some-
take 3 years.
sometimes it gets wild and crazy and they pass something out of the blue.
What, HB2?
No, that ain't gonna make it all the way
That's not
through.
No,
gonna
that's
make
what
it
I'm
all.
saying. Wild and crazy.
But I'm talking about
Not in its current form.
No.
I can promise.
No,
you.
it's not.
He always says there's going to be one thing that comes up that we're not expecting, but it hasn't got there yet, but
Yep.
it will.
We'll have another.
And then the other thing too that the Senate sent you guys is a $500 million deposit into PERS, and
We have to do something with PERS.
and
We're
we
going to
talked
do
about
something.
last week, but here again, reading the tea leaves over on the House side, what are your feelings towards?
We're
that
going
coming out of
to
committee?
come up with the right number on that between us.
Yeah.
That one something will be done.
It's
Yeah.
not going to be that 500 probably number, probably more like 750.
We don't know yet.
We
It
don't
may be
know.
the 500. I mean, we got to look at what, you know, we don't know what Medicaid's going to do. We don't know how bad it's going to bust our budget. And
Right.
you know, if you're talking about $380 million, which is the figure they keep throwing out,
What I keep hearing.
then you know, you take 380 million and 500 million, and you're
And
almost at a-
164 million and 40 million.
I know we were kind of doing the math last
Yeah.
week. You
Yeah.
know what?
It goes pretty quickly.
and you smoked everything we got. So
Right, and it goes really, really
And
quick.
we have to be really careful on recurring expenses. We got money agreed right now that we can do some of these things, but we can't do those after we spent all that extra revenue that we have. What do we do next year? You can't just make everyone happy
you
this
still
year.
got taxes that are going away and things that are changing
Yeah.
Yes.
that are automatically in
So-
there.
Can't
Right.
be recurring expenses. We got to be really careful on that.
Sure. And that kind of pivots me over to something that we haven't talked about yet. And X announced that they're putting a data center in North Mississippi. Huge
Yeah.
amount of money that they're spending, what, $20 billion or some massive number.
Chump change, man.
A chump change for them, obviously, but I mean that's a huge number. Out of that, and then some of the other projects, do we see state revenue? What is the what are they
actually-
projecting for you guys?
Well, it's leveling off, but it's still a little bit more than we expected, to be honest with you.
Coming out of the LBO,
Yeah,
it's more than you're expecting.
it is still, but you know, we're a rapid incline, and then it's kind of started leveling off, and now it has pretty much leveled off. But we're still showing a slight increase each month on revenue, so which is really surprising.
Does a large project like that, do y'all see that drastically improving our financial situation, or just helping it in some way?
Well, it'll help the counties and the cities more than
Obviously
it'll help
that,
the state
but I'm talking about the state as a
and
whole.
the school.
Well, number one is while the construction's going on, I mean, you go right now to Madison, every restaurant's full, every hotel is full, and guess what?
Sales
Fixing to be right here, right now. When that thing starts up in Brandon, when the construction, you know, all they've done is push a little bit of dirt around, right? But when it really they start building it, you won't find a hotel room in Pearl. You won't find a hotel room in Flowood. You won't find, they ain't got any hardly in Brandon, but you won't find one in Brandon.
Right.
You won't be able to get in a restaurant around here because all those people working to build those buildings down there.
Right.
So, and like every guy that owns a dump truck around here will be working. Every guy that you know, you just
But
got
that has a
lot of.
lifespan.
And yeah, that has a lifespan. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to say. But it's going to increase sales tax for a short period.
Sure.
So what the cities and the counties have to look at is don't get used to all that extra sales tax, because that's going to go away when those guys go away. Or will it? What about the new businesses that will come because of it?
That's what I'm wondering.
Because what these businesses really do is attract others. Just like
Sure.
Nissan.
Yeah.
When Nissan moved
All
in,
the outlying
all
stuff.
that,
Sure.
they don't have to have suppliers like that, but somebody has to build the racks that those computers go in. Somebody has to, you know, make all the transformers and all the stuff that go. Well, that you can expect that to come close to these facilities.
Right.
Also, in addition to that, we have 300 to 400 new employees that are going to be out at the new Highway Patrol headquarters.
Yep.
And they're going to be looking for places to eat and to shop and to buy homes and all that too. So a lot, and we just
Yeah, but
talked
what-
about the nursing school. Once that opens, how many
I
peop-
know. And what's one county's gain is another county's loss. In this particular instance,
Yeah.
you're basically just moving dollars from one county to another. That's kind of bad for Hines, but
No, that's not really true, because
it
what
not?
you're doing is consolidate. Well, number one is the nursing school is going from 100 students to whatever it is.
expanding.
Yeah,
Right.
a whole
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah.
a
several
lot.
hundred. Yeah.
And so that's an expansion. That's not just that's
Okay.
just not just moving. And Highway Patrol is moving offices from this county, that county. You know, it's not just coming all out of Hines
They
County.
are. They're consolidating out of other counties.
So I guess where I'm going with the premise of this question is we have all these new businesses moving, and I think it's great. And I do understand the other sides of, well, you know, you're just talking about a big room full of computers. Well, that's kind of true, but you do mention that there are humans that have to touch this stuff.
Yep, that's right.
You know,
And they have to build it too.
they have to build it, they have to maintain it, they have to fix it. We're not to where Elon Musk robots can fix it yet. It's just not there. Will that be down the road? Sure. But you still have to have a human presence. And as you mentioned, 300-400 people coming over from DPS, for that facility. Yes, I get it. But I guess what I'm looking at is long term, the LBO says, yes, you're leveling off, but are these businesses, after that short kind of sales tax runs out,
Yeah.
what are we looking at long term? Are we looking at state revenue to continue? Because we've been a year into the new Trump administration. I know they're doing things differently with education. They're doing things differently with Medicaid.
Well, they
So-
are. I mean, there's 380 million this state's got to come up with all at once. So, yeah.
Right. I
Now,
know.
that's just this year.
Right. That's just this year.
Yeah.
We're not talking about year 2, 3, and
That's
4.
right.
We're talking about just this year. And
So we better be bringing in some more because we're going to have to spend more
right.
or cut services.
So
I think long term, the state is poised to move forward to increase the sales tax that we've had, not raise sales
No,
tax,
right,
but just
but-
increase the amount of sales tax that we're having to make up enough
Right.
for the you know, the reality of it is the sales tax, doing away with the income tax was based on a growth of 2.8% a year.
right on our
So,
GDP.
yeah, so as long as we keep doing that, we're going to cover that doing away with income tax, but I think it's going to grow more than that. Now,
What? Yeah, right. But I mean, we still feel good, and LBO is still pushing out that they're really smart people over there. I mean,
They are.
they're actuaries. They really can schedule things out. They know what they're doing. And so
Usually within 1%, their projection of revenue is usually within 1%.
they hit it pretty close.
That's pretty doggone good.
That's-
Yeah,
Yeah, 1% is pennies.
yeah.
I mean, really, when you look at the entire state budget, what's
That's
what's
right.
the whole budget now?
So over $7 billion.
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. So 1%. Oh, come on, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I just was trying to get an idea of what you guys think long term with these businesses coming in, especially that one that was announced, by X, and I think that's a big win for Mississippi, and they're bringing in their own power generation.
So you also go up in that same area. You've got that thing going, but then you've
Yeah.
got the battery plant for PACCAR and
Yeah.
all those that are.
Yeah,
You got all that going,
right.
and then you drop down to Columbus, and you got that huge aluminum plant going in there.
Yep.
And you just keep going all across state. And you got all these
Yeah.
manufacturing
Amazon, yeah.
facilities that have real jobs. Not,
right.
The aluminum plant is all $80,000 to $100,000 a year jobs, and there's
Right.
like 2,000 of them.
Right.
So
I mean, that's a big deal.
that's a big
It's
deal.
a big deal.
That's a big deal. I mean, it really
Field
is.
of Dreams.
Right. It's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on in Mississippi that are fantastic. That I keep telling this every year. If you go back to that election of 2008, if you go back then and you see the turnaround the state has had since conservative leadership has been conservative,
Yeah.
just look at what has happened to this state. It's exploded. I
Oh,
mean, it
yeah.
really has. It's just, we've come from, basically, and I hate to use this on TV, but we've come from dead ass last. Up to like 12 or something in economy and things.
Education.
Education. I
15.
mean, it's just really growing, just
Yeah.
exceptional. The southern states are doing well,
Yes.
and Mississippi is right along in the mix.
And after seeing all this ice and snow, I know why we're doing well. People want out of that. And they want into this nice climate that we're
They
having.
don't want the weather. They brought it with them.
Yeah,
Okay, I get it. All right, so I'm hoping people understand out there with these new businesses and stuff that's coming in. They're even bringing in new technology for power generation. I know like X is going to be doing some micro nuclear.
Yeah, and I think that's the future. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it is the future. How is it playing out for Entergy? Let's kind of do a tangent here. How is it playing out for them? What is the state looking at in terms of Entergy and their power generation in the state of Mississippi?
They're building a new plant in Greenville, Greenwood, one of those greens
Yeah.
up there. It's a natural gas plant, but they have the ability. They have the room for it. I don't say the ability. They have the room for it to add a nuclear facility, another nuclear facility at Grand Gulf.
Okay.
To
bring another one online if they need to build one.
Yeah. But you're talking about something that it would take like a minimum of 10 years from the day they started it and that's if without getting hung up in federal court. But so you're talking about a minimum of 10 years, and those things are massively expensive, but they last forever.
Right.
That's the one thing they've shown. So, but these smaller nuclear
These
mini plants,
micro-nuclear
nuclear plants.
That's the future, I believe.
I think so, or maybe even some form of hydrogen could be in that mix. So we'll see. I do not believe it's going to be windmills and
No.
No, of course not.
solar.
No.
And
it's
I
not-
was
Too
told,
unreliable.
that's too unreliable.
I was told years ago by the head engineer of Toyota that the electric cars were going to be short term. It's when they were first starting to come out, and he said there'll be hydrogen. And the first thing I thought of was explosions,
Yeah, right.
And he said no, it'll be much safer than electric
Okay,
cars.
so let's go back to Hindenburg days. I mean, that wasn't that hydrogen?
Yeah, but that was hydrogen gas.
Yeah, hydrogen gas, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
and,
Right.
and
But it'll be
and-
back to the future where you take a hydrogen capsule out and put a new one in.
Slide a new one in.
Yeah, and I asked the guy, where in the world would you get them? He said, where do you get your propane gas now?
Right.
Or your butane?
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll go to a convenience store and trade me. He said, that's exactly what you'll do. Same thing.
They have
So
gas stations in Washington D.C. right now that you can pull up and fill up a hydrogen vehicle. They have had test hydrogen vehicles in this country since the 50s.
I have a car that'll run on hydrogen.
Really?
I really do. I have a Mazda.
A Mazda.
I have a Mazda RX-8, my wife's car, that uses
Wow.
the rotary engine, and it's hydrogen rated. It will run on hydrogen because they actually make
You
a
know,
kit where you can convert water and split the molecule, get the hydrogen off, and send that in the motor, and the exhaust spits out the O2. It puts out oxygen. It
want
burns
to-
hydrogen and puts out. It's crazy.
So I was talking to some people one time about hydrogen. You know, what we should go to hydrogen, and they were saying, "Oh, that's just going to blow something up." The guy had a bottle of water in his hand. I said, "Well, ain't you worried about that bottle of water?"
yeah.
What are you talking about? I said, what is the scientific formula for water? He stopped for a minute and he said, H2O. I said, okay, what is H? So you got a hydrogen bomb walking around with it.
Basically, yeah. The oxygen keeps it stable.
No, we have. It's unbelievable how the world is going to change in the next 10 to 20 years.
I know, right?
I went to, and this has nothing to do with legislation. I want you to understand this, but I did go to a President Pro Tem seminar, and a gentleman was speaking about portals to the brain. And I had no idea what he was talking about, but then I heard it on TV this week where we have that ability, they think at this time, to actually have a portal where you can take a thumb drive and plug it into your brain and you can speak French or Spanish or whatever you want to do. And you'll be an Einstein on that particular subject.
Right.
That's scary to me,
I know, right?
of the things that are going to happen.
It's amazing.
Computers.
Here again, Elon Musk, since we're sidebarring that, has a company on the forefront of this, and they have several trial patients that are basically paraplegics. They can't talk. They can't move. All they can do is move their eyes, and they have an embedded chip in their back of their base of their skull, and they are communicating with that chip through a computer, which allows them to talk, which allows them to write, allows them to move a scooter. It's absolutely crazy. And here's the neat thing, and people can go back and look this up. Last year I was reading an article on this. One of the test guys, he ended up, his disease, Lou Gehrig's and whatever it was, his disease, he was able to speak. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. So he wasn't born that way. It happened in an accident, and he was and disease, but he was able to talk. So what they did at X is they went and got, or Elon Musk's group, they went and got recordings of his voice, and they synthesized that in AI. So now, even though he cannot move, he cannot talk, he cannot do anything but move his eyes, and that's even rare. He literally speaks through his computer and carries on a conversation
That's
in
just amazing.
his voice. It's absolutely insane what they can do. It's just the same thing as Hawking, what he had and passed away of. But I think it's incredible. It's scary.
It's scary to a legislator.
But it's insane what they're able to do. Okay, so
Talking about getting out in the weeds.
I know, right? Let's bring it back around. All right. So here we go. So deadlines for introductions passed. February 3rd probably won't get changed. Depends on what's going on, but we'll know next week, or even the next. We'll know in 2 weeks what's going to live or die.
That's right.
We'll know in 2 weeks. So y'all definitely stay tuned in 2 weeks. Next Monday, not sure what we'll know, but we'll know something. But in 2 weeks, we'll know what's going to come out of committee.
Yeah.
We'll have a real good idea
That's
of
right.
what's going to come out of committee. I know, Representative Newman, that you have several things just bill-wise that we can cover real quick before we wrap today that I want people to know out there. One in particular that's going on here in the city, you've got a couple things. Murray Drive and Highway 468. Now, these are projects that both of you guys know about, and I'm gonna turn it over to them in just a second. So this is right here on South Pearson Road, just as you go south underneath 20, to the left that area of that plot of ground over there, and that intersection keeps it from being developed, basically. So help me out.
The number one is the highway department won't allow them to cut straight into that piece of property because it's the federal rules won't allow them to put an intersection there. Mm-hmm. Murray Drive is at the end of the Circle K. Mm-hmm. And so that's the street that we're talking about, Murray Drive. It goes, if you turn right on Murray Drive, you go around and
runs into Children.
Yeah, goes over by Children, yes. Mm-hmm. Runs down beside the interstate. So this would put a red light there, which would allow a turn lane, which basically a turn lane into that piece of property, which would open it up to development. And that's all we're trying to do. It would also help with those two streets, Upper Drive and people getting out of there.
Napoleon and Upper.
Right.
Because that is difficult.
Yeah, especially in the mornings. We're trying to get a school bus in or out of that street early in the mornings when all that traffic's coming through there. So that putting a red light there would help that too.
Right.
I know in the mornings coming from the south, coming north up Pearson to get on the interstate or to go into Jackson if you're going to go that way, since we did the flyover, the intermodal
railroad,
over the railroad, that traffic has increased extensively on South Pearson Road.
Yes.
And this red light would help.
That's right.
Would help balance some of that traffic.
And the new road's going to bring additional traffic down it as well. So.
Correct. So we need, so that one probably survives, more than likely. Tell me about the disabled vehicle. You introduced this, I think, because it's
I introduced this for
the move over law.
Yeah, it's a move over law.
It's a move over law.
So AAA asked me to introduce it, and basically, just think about it like there's a law right now that says you have to move over for emergency vehicles. If it's a police car or fire truck or whatever on the side of the road, you have to move over away from that vehicle or slow down. This is do the same thing, because you have a lot of people get broke down on the side of the road and for whatever reason they can't get the vehicle far enough off the road or whatever. This would require you to move over.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then one that I definitely picked out of this, because you have a lot this year that you have introduced, a lot. But another one I picked. A
lot of them are introduced for entities like AAA,
like AAA,
or DPS, or whoever.
But one that jumps out at me is imposing tax on motor vehicles of charging stations.
Correct.
Now explain this to me, because there's charging stations at the outlet.
So when you pull up to the pump to buy gas, you're paying a gas tax, and we increase that gas tax. Well, when an electric car pulls up to a charging station, they don't pay that tax. So they're not paying to use the same roads that you're paying for. They are paying it somewhat in that whenever they buy their tag, for a hybrid, it's $75 a year, and for a full electric, it's $150. Now that doesn't come close to paying what you're paying for every day in fuel tax, right. but it makes, the logic was at the time it was done, it was 12,000 miles a year, and that would probably equal the 18 cents. So what this bill does is it requires especially people coming through from out of town to pay that tax, and it increases the tag amounts on vehicles to equalize for the tax increase that we just did. And the other thing that it does is for two-wheel vehicles, it actually lowers it because right now you got a motorcycle that's paying the same amount of tax charge for a motorcycle, that's electric motorcycle, that you do for a car. So we just reduced that in half for a two-wheel vehicle.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I hope so.
I mean, based on the weight.
Yeah, right. I was say that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
based on the weight, because it's a two-wheel vehicle.
Yeah, it's two-wheel vehicle.
We're talking about everything from a gas-powered little Honda scooter that's street legal, that you see people riding on all the time, all the way up to a full-blown Harley Dresser or Honda Goldwing or something like that, right?
Right, yeah. But they're paying fuel tax. Those ones you just described, the Harley is paying fuel tax just like your car.
Just like the car is.
Yeah, but they just don't use
the
much
electric
fuel.
Ones aren't.
But the electric ones or the electric ones are paying the equivalent of what a car is paying for. So
Yeah.
So the tag charge on an electric motorcycle is the same as it would be on a Tesla.
correct. And so this will reduce that in half.
Yeah, the
Since-
fee,
The
additional fee.
So we'll go from 150
Yeah.
to 75.
But now if they pull up down here
Well-
at the outlet mall and start charging that motorcycle, then they're going to pay that tax just like everybody else.
Actually, that 75 and 150 had an escalation clause, and I think the 75 now has moved up to, I asked a guy that just bought a hybrid how much he paid, and he said 90.
Yeah, it's going
Okay.
up some.
So it's going up a little bit. Not
Okay.
a lot, but
Right.
some.
But this would
So-
this would increase it for the amounts that's gone up on the fuel tax.
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes a little bit of sense. Okay. All right. So a big deal to me, and I think everybody's guilty of this, texting while driving.
Correct.
We're going to move this from a civil to a criminal.
Okay. Here's a reality. You can ask any Pearl police officer, any highway patrolman, will they write a ticket for a civil offense? And they'll tell you no. They're not civil officers.
Mm-mm.
So why have it? If you can't, if they're not going to enforce it, why waste your time with it? And we all know texting and driving is dangerous. We may all do it, and sadly we may all do it. But you know, the reality of it is dangerous. And if there's a law that says you're not supposed to be doing it, most of us won't do it. More of us won't do it than will do it. So.
And you would think that would be teenagers, but it's not.
Worst offenders is the people my age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. I am not for mandating anything. I'm not. I'm for letting free market manage stuff. But in this instance, it does. When you do something that could cause bodily harm to someone else, I think that's where and texting
right.
while driving is a distraction. They make stuff now in vehicles where you can text by talking.
That's right.
And it'll read
In the
it to
newer
you.
vehicles, yes.
Right, and you can get aftermarket parts and put in older vehicles
Oh, can you?
that will allow you to text and drive by audio. So it's doable today. I'm not for mandating car companies make you do that, but
I think they're just doing it, to be honest with you.
I think they're doing it anyway. Free market's going to do that. I like the concept of this. I would offer one suggestion. If you want some real teeth, do it like you did the DUI law, where you have to have a smart start in your car. If you get caught texting and driving and you cause an
You have
accident,
to have a blocker in your car to block texting.
yes.
Wow.
Look at some kind of technology to where if you do this and you get caught doing this and you are not necessarily get a ticket for texting and driving, but you cause an accident for texting and driving, then you have to have some type of smart start that, you know, that there's technology. I would look at something like that.
If I can get this first part done, I'd like to do that. Exactly.
Because I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course car manufacturers would bring out stuff in vehicles that would
Do
you know,
that.
That would do that, you know,
Yeah.
for you. But I think that's just where you should go with that. My opinion. I like the concept, but you see people doing it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I see people driving down the road, sitting at red lights, texting, and the light's green, and I hate to honk at you, but come on, man.
I've had them sit through the light.
Right. I see what you're doing. You know, clearly I see you're texting, you know, and then when I honk at you, I scare you to death. I mean, I don't want to do that, but yeah.
I've seen them texting and actually not have their foot on the brake good and go out in the middle of an intersection and text.
All right, so one more that I wanted to touch on is a big deal. You've got plenty in here, and we may talk about it, but there's one in here specifically about motor vehicle insurance, proof of insurance when registering or renewing your tag.
Well, that's not that's not mine, but that's actually Jeffrey Holmes. What
Yes,
I signed on
but
it.
you signed. You're co-sponsor.
And it's. I mean, we've got to do something with all these people running around Mississippi without insurance.
Still
Or with
about
no-
a third of the people
I know,
do
right?
not carry liability insurance.
And even if they have it, they have the minimum, state minimum's 25,000 insurance. Really? I mean, if my son comes pick you up in a helicopter to take you back to the hospital, you just spent $75,000.
Sure. Right. And I think I like the idea here. I think people need to understand that your driver's license, it reads on there a Mississippi privilege license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to have a license. It's not your right to have a driver's license. It's a privilege. And in order to have that privilege, there are certain rules that you have to
go by,
follow.
yeah.
One of those is insurance, and so many people don't.
Yeah.
I don't like paying that bill either, but I pay it because I have a privilege to drive. And in this instance, is that going to fix it? I mean, you're just going to have people who aren't going to go renew their driver's license. Is that?
I would think that probably only in Rankin County, probably only about 20% of the people, not 33 1/3, don't have insurance. But I had a lady that was chairman of the House Insurance Committee when we passed that bill. I was chairman of the Senate Committee, and she kept telling me, and this is the Delta area, and she kept telling me, she said, I can't pass it. She said, you got to realize in my district, it's probably 80% of the people don't have insurance. I said, you're kidding me. And she said, no. She said, probably 50% of the people don't even have car tags. And that just shocked me that there are areas like that, because we don't have that here.
No.
So we have, thank goodness, mostly responsible people.
Just don't start riding around looking at trailer tags.
Well, they just take it off one trailer.
Let's not. All right,
It
so
was expired in '83.
so in that same vein, you've introduced legislation to start suspending driver's licenses again
For not paying tickets.
for not paying tickets.
Yes, that was the craziest thing that should have never been passed. Does not make any sense.
It does.
It makes the traffic laws unenforceable,
does.
and it's too many people out here know that they just if they show up for court period for a traffic ticket, they just laugh at the judge and walk out because they ain't nothing they can do to them.
Right. You can't do it. You can't suspend their license,
The
and
joke,
you can't put them in jail.
yeah, it's a joke.
Right.
Makes the traffic laws a joke.
Yeah. That's just fixing some of these little things.
Yeah.
The devil's in the details, right, Gene?
Mm-hmm.
The devil's in the
And you
details.
mentioned trailers, and I've had people say, you shouldn't even have to have tags on trailers, period. Or by one tag, if you've got two trailers, one for your boat and one for utility to carry your lawnmower on or whatever, have one tag. And and they also have told me, make it like an antique tag.
Citizen Frank would
The
be in
last-
that camp.
You buy one tag for that trailer, as long as you got the trailer, you got the tag.
If I'm under a certain weight on a trailer, then I don't think you should have to have a tag for it. These little single axle pulling my lawnmower around trailers, what's the point? I really don't see the need to
It
do
really
that.
does make sense to make it like the antique car tag, to buy one time for that trailer and not worry about it.
and not worry about it again. Now, I would be okay with that, but I mean, we talk about now these commercial trailers that they pull these big backhoes and all. They're pulling weight around
that's
on these
different.
roads.
That's
That is a
different.
whole different story, and that absolutely needs to be
Oh, absolutely.
to be tagged. Those
Yes.
trailers do, but the guy like
Individual.
me or you goes out and get a little trailer to go pull our cordwood on that we go to deer camp to cut and bring back to the house. Come on, really? Do we really need to do that? I mean, one. If I buy it, here's my registration of my trailer. Here's my tag. I never have to pay for it again. That makes a lot of sense.
So when you're driving down the highway and you're passing these 18-wheelers, if you'll notice, most of the tags on those trailers are
Yeah.
from Tennessee
Or from Tennessee.
because they're permanent trailer tags.
Yeah.
They don't. They once buy them, put them on it, and don't ever change it.
Nice.
Got a lot of things to consider.
There is. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the rest of this year.
But you got to understand, those tags and the money for those tags does not go to the state.
Right.
It goes to your county and your city. So that's what people need to understand. I mean,
Sure.
don't get mad at the legislators over the car tags. Because we don't get that money. We get, what, $14?
I know,
$14.
right? But I do think that we should do something about those trailers.
I
The little
agree.
single axle, even the double axle one that's owned by an individual that's pulling around maybe their tractor, their small tractor, and they put it on a double axle and they pull it over to mom's house to go do some bush hogging. It's just right down the road. I don't have an issue with that, but when you start getting into those larger flatbed, hot shot haulers or fifth wheel trailers or things, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a little
That's
bumper
right.
pull here. I'm not talking about
Pulling your four-wheeler to
Right.
deer camp.
right. I'm even saying you don't exclude the guy that the rancher that's got an F-350 or a 450 that's got his big gooseneck and
Oh,
you're going to have
that's
to pay
different.
for that. That's different.
That's
That's you're tearing up the roads as you go up and down it. That's a little bit different. But these little single axle trailers that I can bench press in my size, that doesn't make any sense. I mean,
That's
honestly.
funny.
I know, right?
I was just trying to think of a trailer small enough I could bench press.
Go to Harbor Freight. Go to Harbor Freight. They got one hanging from the ceiling that folds out, and you put some wood in it, and,
Really?
and it's a couple $100 to buy it. Anyway, I'm talking about that one. Anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all showing up on a blustery Monday morning.
Well, sorry that we don't have more to report
Oh,
this
no,
week,
we're-
but the
we're-
weather has not been kind to us.
This is good, and at least we give an idea of what to expect over the next couple of weeks. Because as we said, in a couple of weeks,
Things will change.
we will really kind of know where things are going, and we'll be into the minutia for real.
That's true.
We'll know a little bit more next week, but we'll have a really good idea in
Yeah,
2 weeks.
that's
So
correct.
y'all hang tight with that.
Thank you.
Thank
Frank.
you very much, guys. I appreciate y'all
Thank
coming
you.
in today.
Thank you for letting
We
us
appreciate
come.
it come.
Don't run off, because when we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on other than the snow this week in Pearl. So we'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. And adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi, folks. Welcome back into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and that was a very interesting conversation. Even enjoyed the little sidebar where we talked about brain implants and chips in spines and things of that nature. Really cool stuff, but it is really good to talk about kind of where we are with financial future of the state and what that looks like and what the bills are that are kind of working their way into committee now, on each side of the House. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. Hey, look, we had some really tough weather this week, so a lot of things that are going on in Pearl are not at the moment. Schools closed as we film this today, so there are a little bit of things that are kind of slowing down, but we'll get back to a full slate calendar of mentioning stuff. I know that baseball and softball registration ended last week in Pearl, and there are several people on the waiting list, but baseball season actually gets started in March. So in February, I believe the teams will be announced and coaches will be calling kids, and they'll get started practicing the latter part of February and the first part of March, and then games start in March and April. So we'll be excited for that to get started. I think basketball is winding up right now for the city. So other than that, we've got a couple of things coming that we'll talk about later. But with this week, we want to hope and extend our prayers out to everybody that was impacted by this massive ice storm that we had in North Mississippi, and fortunately for us here in Pearl. it didn't affect us like it did other places. But anyway, I've enjoyed bringing today's show to you. Y'all stay safe and warm this week, and until next week, I'll see you later. Y'all have a good week.